and this trend is starkly visible in the alluvial aquifers of northwest India, as pointed out by previous speakers, especially Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and parts of Gujarat, and also in southern part of India. So as the recharge takes several centuries, their depletion has exposed India's most productive regions to the possibility of desertification. In central and south India, where wells deplete and replete annually, due to the nature of hard rock aquifer systems, these trends are less apparent. But there what we see is the overextraction is resulting into drying up of the aquifer, defunct wells, and this is reinforcing the alarm for artificial recharge to groundwater. Next one. So this scenario has already been explained. I will not repeat this. I will only say that the priority areas are basically the red areas, which are the overexploited areas where the groundwater draft already exceeds the recharge. And then the blue areas and the yellow areas also, which are critical and semi-critical, and they also need to be addressed, because groundwater exploitation is a continuing process and our dependence is continuously increasing. Next one. Now, the most important thing is, if you are looking at the water resource which has to be harnessed, we have to look at the availability of water during the year. As we see, 75% of the annual rainfall occurs only during 4 months of the year. And here is the time window where the water is available. This needs to be stored in suitable structures. Next one. Now, the complex ways in which the climate change and anthropogenic effects have affected the water cycle in recent years have necessitated that water service providers should invest in strategies beyond traditional storage of dams and percolation tanks and like that. So the option of building more surface water reservoir is increasingly limited by uncertain precipitation, reservoir siltation, environmental concerns, and the fact that most of the cost-effective and viable sites have already been used. Hence, aquifers are increasingly seen as strategic and integral resources for enhancing the water supplies and other natural ecosystem services that support human development and resilience. Therefore, it is increasingly important to enhance, manage and sustain services derived from nature-based infrastructure of aquifers. You don't have to really create a very big infrastructure for storage into subsurface reservoirs. Through managed aquifer recharge, by managing and optimizing underground water storage to increase resilience in dry periods or seasons of uncertain and variable climate. Next. So, you will see two kinds of terms being used: artificial recharge and managed aquifer recharge. So, what is artificial recharge? Is the augmentation of groundwater resources brought about as a result of man's activities. It is carried out all over the world for all kinds of reasons, and in its simplest form involves constraining surface runoff and encouraging infiltration to aquifers through construction of appropriate civil structures, while the managed aquifer recharge is the intentional recharge of water to aquifers for subsequent recovery or environmental benefit. So the basic difference lies in the fact that in artificial recharge we are focusing on augmenting the quantity of recharge, but with much less attention given to managing water quality, which is very, very important. And in MAR, both quantity and quality aspects are managed effectively. In India, a lot of artificial recharge is being done without consideration of the quality, and that has led to many places contamination of the near surface aquifers. So the water quality aspect needs to be addressed, and in addition there are several other criteria which should be considered that I will be coming to. Next one. So the source water could be in situ precipitation in a watershed area, nearby stream, spring or aquifer system. It could be surface water supplies from large reservoirs located within the watershed or the basin in case the water is surplus, like we are doing it in Gujarat. We are supplying a part of surface water available from the Narmada reservoir for recharge to the deeper aquifers. Then surface water supplies through trans-basin water transfer. If there are surplus basins, there could be transfer of water also, and it could be recharged. Then treated municipal and industrial wastewaters. Here a word of caution is required, that is the quality aspect. Unless these treated industrial and wastewaters are treated to drinking water standards, it is not advisable to directly recharge them into the aquifer, because you are going to ultimately contaminate the quality of the aquifer, which is very difficult to remediate, and there could be more sources also. Next. So what is more important is the subsurface geological formations which act as subsurface reservoirs because they are technically feasible alternatives for storing the surplus monsoon runoff and also a substantial quantity of water. Besides suitable lithological conditions, other considerations for creating subsurface storages are favorable geological structures, physiographic units, whose dimensions and shapes will allow retention of substantial volume of water in porous and permeable formations. The subsurface reservoirs are offering environment-friendly and economically viable, solution, and they have the advantages of being free from the adverse effects like inundation of large surface area, as in the case of surface water bodies, loss of cultivable land, that also does not happen here. Local population is not displaced, and you are saving substantial evaporation loss, which is to the extent of 30 to 40% in case of western part of Rajasthan. And then, if you recharge the deeper aquifers, where there is a stress, you are also reducing the sensitivity to the earthquakes. Next one. So this is basically hydrogeological map on the left hand side, and the potential of the formations on the right hand side. What we can see is there are 14 principal aquifers in India, out of which, if we classify them looking to the water bearing properties, we have got 4 basic types of formation. Alluvium, that is the yellow colored one in the left hand side map, and the different shades of blue in the right side map that shows alluvium, that is the major aquifer system and occupies nearly 31% of the area of the country. Basalts occupy nearly 17% of the area. They are seen in the light greenish color in the Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, parts of Rajasthan and Gujarat, and parts of Andhra Pradesh also. And then the remaining 43% of the area is, excepting basalt, is a hard rock area where the permeabilities and transmissivities are still poor. These aquifer characteristics have got a bearing on the storage possibilities in the aquifer recharge, and we need to necessarily consider that what kind of permeability porosity combination is available to recharge the maximum quantity of water. Next one. So this is a conceptual design of various types of artificial recharge structures which are being constructed: surface spreading, contour bunds, bench terracing, then desilting of the recharge basin, check dam, nala bunds, gully plugs, recharge trench, recharge pits, recharge shafts, underground dams, and things like that, dug well recharge, injection wells, etc. Next one. So see what the Central Groundwater Board has done is they have assessed the country-wise potentiality of areas which are feasible for recharge. Then they have computed how much is the subsurface storage which is available for recharge. Then also the water which is required for recharge and the surplus available for recharge. So what we are able to see is that out of something like 33 lakh square kilometer of the area, nearly 23,000 square kilometer is feasible for recharge, and the subsurface storage computed to a depth of 3 to 5 meters by different states. We have got something like 5,37,000 MCM of subsurface storage available for recharge, and the quantity of water required for recharge is of the order of 7,17,000 cubic meters, but the surplus available is only 1,80,000. So you need the water where you need the water. Most of the places it is not available, but wherever it is available, it has to be harnessed in a proper way through harnessing of the suitable hydrogeological formation and appropriate engineering technique. Next one. This is a pictorial presentation of what I said before. This is the priority areas are basically where the depth to water level is more than 40 meters, and also these are overexploited areas. And then you see these are the statistics which I have presented. So here what we can see is the potential for augmentation of groundwater recharge is to the extent of 130 BCM, and that can take care of our future requirements up to for irrigation up to another 2 decades. Next one. Then cost of recharge structures, costing has also been done, and we can see that the total costing of the various types of recharge structures in rural and urban areas works out to be 1,33,500 crores, of which rural areas account for 96,000 crores and urban areas about 37,000 crores. Next one. So now what are the anticipated benefits? Though already known, but it will only systematically bring it out that what happens groundwater is a dynamic system with multiple inlets and outlets, and all may not be active at a given time. So the openness of the system to multiple simultaneous recharge and discharge active points render it more complex to define the anticipated benefits from artificial recharge. We may not be able to directly observe the effects of recharge, because there are indirect accrued benefits also in addition to rise in water level, and can be grouped in the following categories. One is rise in water level, of course, but the second one is arresting the declining water level rate of decline or the absolute value. Then well yield benefits. This is most important because it gives sustainability to the groundwater structures. The wells provide water in lean months, longer duration of pumping or increase in the number of pumping days, reduce pumping hours but constant command area, cropped area related benefits, increase in the area crop, more area with the same crop, and then other fringe benefits like green vegetation cover may increase in the zone of benefit, and quality of groundwater may also improve. Next. So the challenges, what are the challenges in implementing the technology? Managed aquifer recharge is the most economic, most benign, most resilient, and most socially acceptable solution, but has not been given due importance in India in the past due to lack of awareness, inadequate knowledge of aquifers, immature perception of risk, inadequate policies for integrated water management, including linking MAR with demand management. Demand management is definitely equally important. Then barriers to implementation include a lack of hydrogeological understanding for suitable site selection and adequate planning before implementation, operational challenges, government capacity to regulate and guide the implementation. This is basically very meager or lacking. Then financial resources and a lack of awareness of its potential among both regulators and the public. Much less research has been given in the past to the barriers of uptake, implementation or upscaling, rather than to the technical investigation of new techniques like hydrogeological modeling and other aspects of utilization. So if the potential of artificial recharge as a climate adaptation measure is to be realized, a much better understanding of implementation and uptake barriers is needed. The identification of key barriers to implementation of recharge can help facilitate focused, suitable research and support that have relevant expertise to help ensure successful implementation. Next. Then, as my previous speakers have also said, awareness and community participation is absolutely essential, because there is a need to understand the objective and the technique, as groundwater is an invisible resource. You can't see it really on the surface. So proper understanding of the geometry and disposition of aquifers is required to locate appropriate recharge structures. Then this is a community resource. So initiatives from the community are possible only when they are aware of the harmful effects of depletion of groundwater on ecology, environment and socio-economic status, and positive impact of rainwater harvesting, which can be achieved through mass awareness. Then selection of sites and type of rainwater harvesting structures to augment resources suited to an area is important for the success of rainwater harvesting schemes. There are many cases which have come to notice of the Government of India and several state governments that many of the recharge structures constructed are only evaporation ponds. They do not have a subsurface structure which could allow the percolation of water, and as a result many water bodies created do not have the input of the hydrogeology, geometry, disposition and aquifer properties of the aquifer. The awareness of success stories and benefits accrued should initiate positive change in the mindset of the community to participate in rainwater harvesting projects. Next. Okay, thank you. So there is a need to synergize efforts from all the angles, the people, the public, the government. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jain, for all the practical and the experience-driven insight. May I request